The massive Veltari mothership dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. Its dark hull stretched 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapon ports that could level entire cities. Admiral Krell stood on the bridge, his 6 arms crossed as he studied the primitive planet before him. Another backward world, Krell muttered to his aide. The Veltari had conquered 42 species in the past century. Each conquest followed the same pattern: show overwhelming force, demand surrender, accept capitulation within days. This blue planet would be no different. The ship's sensors swept across Earth's surface. They detected nuclear weapons, conventional armies, and basic orbital platforms. Nothing impressive. Nothing threatening. The humans possessed technology centuries behind Veltari standards. "Sir, we're detecting multiple nation-states on the surface," reported the intelligence officer. "They appear to be divided against each other. Some are actively fighting small wars." Krell's mandibles clicked in amusement. Divided species were always easier to conquer. Their disunity made them weak. The Veltari Empire had learned this lesson. Across dozens of worlds, on Earth, Commander Heian received the urgent message in the middle of the night. She had been sleeping in her quarters aboard Unity 7, humanity's largest space station. The communication made her blood run cold. "Unknown vessels detected at system perimeter. All defense forces to alert status." Hyun rushed to the command center. Through the massive viewport, she could see distant lights moving against the stars. Ships. Alien ships. After decades of searching the cosmos for other intelligent life, they had found humanity instead. Captain Day was already at his post aboard the flagship, determination when the alerts came through. He had served in Earth's combined fleet for 15 years. He had trained for this moment his entire career. First contact with an alien species, but these aliens had not come in peace. The Veltar fleet numbered 200 warships. Each vessel carried enough firepower to destroy a city. They arranged themselves in perfect formation around Earth's orbital space. The message was clear: surrender or face annihilation. Admiral Krell activated the translation. Matrix and broadcast his message to Earth. His voice echoed across every communication channel on the planet. "Primitive humans, you have been selected for integration into the Veltari Empire. Your resistance is meaningless. Your technology is inferior. Surrender within 30 standard days or face complete destruction." The message repeated in every human language. Krell had delivered similar ultimatums 42 times before. The response was always the same: fear, panic, then quick surrender. Humans would follow the pattern. In the United Nations building, world leaders gathered for an emergency session. President Kim stared at the holographic display showing the alien fleet. 200 ships against humanity's 47 vessels. The math was simple. They were outnumbered and outgunned. "Can we fight them?" asked General Park. The military advisors shook their heads. Earth's weapons were primitive compared to what the sensors detected on those alien ships. Plasma cannons, energy shields, faster than light drives. Technology that seemed like magic. Commander Heian prepared for the diplomatic meeting aboard Unity 7. She had been chosen to represent humanity because of her calm demeanor and language skills. The weight of her species' future rested on her shoulders. The Veltari shuttle docked with Unity 7 12 hours later. Admiral Krell emerged with his entourage. The aliens stood nearly 3 meters tall, with 6 arms and chitinous exoskeletons. Their eyes glowed with an inner light that seemed to look right through human souls. "I am Admiral Krell of the Veltari Empire," he announced. "You will surrender your world to our authority. Your people will be relocated to mining colonies. Resources will serve the Empire. This is not negotiable." Commander Heian stood straight despite the fear in her heart. "I am Commander Hyun of Earth's United Defense Force. We respectfully decline your demands. Earth is not for sale." Krell's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. "You decline? Little human, you have 47 ships. We have 200. Your weapons are projectiles and chemical explosives. As ours are plasma and antimatter. What makes you think you can resist?" "Because this is our home," Hyun replied simply. The alien admiral shook his massive head. Every species said the same thing at first. Pride always came before the fall. Fear would set in soon enough. Captain Day monitored the meeting from his command chair. The alien ships had not moved from their positions, but their weapons remained. Powered. One word from their admiral in Earth's major cities would burn. Lieutenant. Ow. Ju worked frantically at her communication station. She had been trying to intercept Veltari transmissions since their arrival. Most were encrypted, but some casual chatter came through clearly. Easy conquest, one alien voice said. These humans have no real weapons. We'll be done in 3 days. You're done. Admiral wants to use this as a training exercise for the new recruits. Another replied. Let them practice orbital bombardment on empty cities. I heard these humans still fight with metal projectiles. How primitive can a species be? A casual. Dismissal in their voices made Ju's hands shake. The aliens saw humanity as nothing more than target practice. Admiral Krell returned to his flagship after the failed negotiation. Commander Haon had refused surrender, but that changed nothing. They always refused at first. Fear would make them. Reconsider. Begin positioning the fleet for orbital bombardment, he ordered. Target their military installations first. Leave their cities intact until they surrender. Dead slaves are worthless slaves. His tactical officer brought up Earth's defense grid on the main display. Sir. Their orbital platforms are armed with nuclear missiles. Should we be concerned? Krell's laughter filled the bridge. Nuclear weapons? We stopped using such primitive devices 3 centuries ago. Missiles cannot penetrate our shields. This will be easier than conquering the Zephyrians. On Earth, the leaders made their final preparations. They knew the attack would come within hours. Military forces took positions around major cities. Civilian populations moved to underground shelters. Everyone understood this might be humanity's final day. Commander Haon returned to Unity 7, composed a message to be broadcast across Earth. Citizens of the world, we face an enemy that believes we are weak. They think our spirit can be broken with superior numbers. They are wrong. We are human. We do not surrender. We do not break. We fight. The message reached every corner of the planet and soul. Families hugged each other tighter. In New York, soldiers checked their weapons one last time. In Lagos, children asked their parents if the aliens would really go away. Captain Day stood before his crew aboard the Determination. 47 ships against 200 primitive weapons against advanced technology. Any sane species would surrender. Today we show these aliens what humans are made of, he announced. They think we're weak because we're divided. They think we're primitive because our technology is simple. They're about to learn that the strongest steel is forged. In the hottest fire, Admiral Krell gave the final order as Earth's sun set behind the planet's curve. Begin the attack. Show these humans the price of defying the Veltari Empire. The first energy beams lanced down from orbit, striking military bases across 3 continents. The invasion of Earth had begun. The aliens expected quick victory. They were about to discover that some species refused to stay conquered. The first Veltari energy beams struck Earth at dawn. Military bases across North America, Europe, and Asia exploded in brilliant flashes of superheated plasma. Admiral Krell watched from his command ship as human defensive installations vanished. One by one, their main military centers are destroyed, reported his tactical officer. We should receive surrender communications within the hour. Krell nodded. This matched every previous conquest. Overwhelming force followed by immediate capitulation. The humans would beg for mercy soon enough, but the surrender never came, Major. Tay crouched in the smoking ruins of Seoul's military headquarters. Half his building had been vaporized by alien fire, but his communication systems still worked. Instead of panic, he felt something else. Anger. All units, this is Command 7. He spoke into his radio. Primary bases are gone, but we're still fighting. Switch to backup protocols immediately. Across the planet, military commanders received similar orders. The humans had prepared for this possibility. Every major installation had 3 backup command centers. Every destroyed base had a replacement ready to activate. The Veltari expected chaos and confusion. Instead, they found organized resistance, Captain. Young pulled his fighter jet out of a steep dive as plasma bolts flashed past his cockpit. His squadron had launched from a hidden airbase in the mountains. The aliens had missed it during their initial bombardment. Fox leader to all fighters, he called over the radio. These alien ships are fast, but they turn like trucks. Use your speed against them. Young's jet screamed toward a Veltari patrol craft. At the last second, he rolled left and fired his missiles. The alien pilot tried to follow, but couldn't match the human's agility. The patrol craft exploded in a ball of orange flame. First blood goes to humanity, Young whispered. Dr. Jin worked frantically in her underground laboratory. She'd been studying the wreckage from the alien attack when she noticed something interesting. The plasma burns showed a specific energy signature. More importantly, pieces of alien technology had survived the explosion. Get me every science team on the planet, she ordered her assistants. We're going to figure out how these weapons work. The Veltari had never faced an enemy that could reverse engineer their technology so quickly. Most species took months to understand alien science. Humans began adapting it within hours. Sergeant Ben led his squad through the ruins of downtown. Tokyo, Veltari ground forces had landed an hour ago, expecting to find terrified civilians hiding in buildings. Instead, they found prepared soldiers waiting in ambush. Remember, Ben whispered to his men, these aliens are bigger and stronger than us, but they've never fought in a city before. This is our territory. The first Veltari patrol marched down, the main street in perfect formation. Their energy rifles gleamed in the morning light. They looked invincible in their powered armor. Ben smiled grimly and pressed the detonator. The entire street exploded. Buildings collapsed on both sides, crushing. The alien patrol under tons of concrete and steel. Humans had spent the night preparing the perfect trap. Urban Warfare Lesson 1, Ben said into his radio. Never walk into a human city uninvited. Admiral Krell stared at the tactical display in growing confusion. His forces had achieved complete orbital superiority and destroyed every major military installation. So why were the humans still fighting? Sir, we're receiving reports from the ground teams, his aide announced nervously. They're encountering unexpected resistance. The humans are using guerrilla tactics. Guerrilla tactics? Krell's mandibles clicked in irritation. What do you mean, hidden explosives? Ambush attacks? They disappear after each strike and reappear. Somewhere else. Our troops can't find them to fight back. This had never happened before. Every other species fought honorable battles in open ground. They lined up their armies and fought until one side won. These humans fought like cowards, striking from shadows and running away. But somehow, it was working. Commander Heen coordinated the global resistance from Unity 7. The space station had been damaged in the initial attack. But its communication. Systems still functioned. She could speak to resistance cells on every continent. London, report status, she called. Still fighting, came the reply. We've destroyed 3 alien transports using modified cargo ships. They didn't expect us to. Turned civilian vessels into weapons. Moscow, report. Operational. We've captured an alien patrol and are studying their equipment. Their armor is tough, but it has weak points. Sydney, report. All clear. We drove off their landing forces using converted construction equipment. Alien infantry. Heen smiled, despite the danger. The aliens had expected humanity to surrender like every other species. They had not prepared for this level of resistance. Captain Day commanded the rebuilt space fleet from his hiding place. Behind Earth's moon, determination had been damaged in the first battle. But human engineers worked miracles with spare parts and determination. Sir, we've modified our missiles with captured alien power cores, reported his weapons officer. They should be able to penetrate their shields now, Day nodded. And let's show these aliens that humans don't give up easily. His small fleet emerged from behind the moon at full speed. The Veltari sensors detected them immediately, but they dismissed the threat. These primitive human ships had been useless in the first battle. They were not useless anymore. The modified missiles struck the Veltari cruiser's shields and punched straight through. The alien ship shuddered under the impact. Emergency lights flashed across its hull. Impossible, the Veltari captain gasped. Human weapons cannot penetrate our defenses. A second wave of missiles finished the job. The cruiser exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Dr. Jin made her breakthrough at 3 a.m. The alien plasma rifle she had been studying finally revealed its secrets. The power source was compact but incredibly efficient. The focusing array could be reproduced with Earth materials. "You can build these," she announced to her team. "Not just copy them, build them better." Human manufacturing capabilities were primitive compared to alien standards. But humans had something the Veltari lacked: creativity, adaptability, the willingness to try impossible things within 6 hours. The first human-built plasma rifles rolled off production lines in hidden factories across the globe. Admiral Krell reviewed the day's battle reports with growing concern. His forces had achieved every tactical objective. They controlled Earth's orbit. They had destroyed the human military. They had landed ground forces on every continent. So why were his casualties mounting? "Sir, we've lost 12 patrol ships and over 100 ground troops," his aide reported. "The humans are not fighting according to standard military doctrine." "Oh, do you mean they use civilian vehicles as weapons? They turn buildings into traps? They modify our own technology against us? They refuse to engage in organized battles?" Krell's frustration grew. Every other species fought with honor and logic. They followed predictable patterns. These humans fought like wild animals, using every dirty trick imaginable. "How long until they surrender?" demanded. His aide hesitated. "Sir, intelligence suggests they have no intention of surrendering. Ever." Sergeant Bin's squad struck again at sunset. This time they hit a Veltari supply convoy using modified construction equipment. The aliens had been expecting an attack from military vehicles. They were not prepared for armed bulldozers and weaponized dump trucks. "The bigger they are, the harder they fall." Bin laughed as another alien transport exploded. Major T.E. coordinated strikes across the Asian continent from his mobile command center. The Veltari kept trying to locate his headquarters, but he never stayed in one place for more than 2 hours. "All units, this is Nomad Base," he broadcast. "Today, we proved that. Human determination beats alien technology. Tomorrow, we prove it again." As Earth's first day under invasion came to an end, Admiral Krell faced an uncomfortable truth. His easy conquest had become a grinding war. The humans refused to break. They adapted to every Veltari advantage. They turned their weaknesses into strengths. For the first time in his military career, Krell wondered if the Veltar Empire had finally met their match. The humans were supposed to surrender in 3 days. Instead, they were getting stronger. 3 months had passed since the Veltari invasion began. Admiral Krell stared at the battle reports with disbelief. 12 of his installations had been destroyed, his casualties numbered in the thousands. The humans should have surrendered. By now, this had never happened before. In 30 years of military service, Krell had never lost a single battle. The Veltari Empire's reputation was built on swift, decisive victories. Now he faced the unthinkable. His first military defeat. "Sir, the humans have captured another weapons depot," reported his aide, trying to keep the fear from his voice. "They took everything. Plasma rifles, power cores, even a hover tank." Krell's 6 arms trembled with rage. "How many humans attacked the depot?" "Intelligence suggests 12 soldiers, sir." 12 humans had defeated 40 Veltari guards. Math made no sense. Veltari soldiers were bigger, stronger, and better armed. Yet somehow, humans kept winning these small battles. Colonel Nam crouched in the abandoned subway tunnel beneath New York City. Around him, resistance fighters from every nation worked together to plan their next strike. It's the underground command network he had built spanned the entire globe. "Buenos Aires team, what's your status?" He spoke into his encrypted radio. "Ready for action, Colonel? We've got 50 volunteers armed with captured plasma weapons." Tokyo team report. "Standing by. Our engineers have modified the alien hover vehicles. They work better now than when the aliens built them." Lagos team, operational. We've got their supply lines mapped for the next coordinated strike. Nam smiled. The Veltari had expected to fight isolated human governments. Instead, they faced a unified global resistance that shared information and resources instantly. Earth's former enemies now fought as brothers against the alien threat. Engineer was worked carefully with the captured Veltari power core. The device was incredibly dangerous. One wrong move and half the city would disappear in a nuclear fireball. But she had learned how to extract maximum energy from alien technology. The power output is 3 times higher than their original design, she explained to her team. These aliens are advanced, but they're not creative. They build safe, predictable weapons. With improvised explosive devices, used Veltari power cores in ways their creators never imagined. The aliens built their technology to last centuries. Humans built theirs to explode with maximum force. This single device has more destructive power than our biggest nuclear bomb, she continued, and we can build 50 of them this week. General IK stood before the holographic display showing Veltari positions across Europe. 3 months ago, he had been a general without an army. He commanded the largest military force in human history. Soldiers from every nation had joined his reformed military. American pilots flew alongside Russian tank crews. Chinese engineers worked with German infantry. The artificial borders that had divided humanity for centuries had vanished overnight. Today we begin Operation Hammer, he announced to his commanders. Coordinated strikes on every Veltari position simultaneously. They think in terms of individual battles. We think in terms of global war. The aliens had superior technology, but humans had superior tactics. Every engagement had taught them something new about their enemies. The Veltari were predictable. They followed established patterns. They never adapted to changing conditions. Pilot Yoon checked her hybrid fighter one more time before takeoff. The aircraft looked like a human jet, but alien technology powered its engines and weapons. Her engineering team had spent weeks perfecting the design. Dragon Squadron, prepare for launch, she called to her wingmates. Remember these alien? Pilots are fast, but not creative. Use their predictability against them. Her squadron launched from the hidden airbase and climbed toward the Veltari patrol. The alien ships detected them immediately and moved to intercept. They flew in perfect formation, just like their training manuals required. EU smiled. Perfect. Formations made perfect targets. She fired her plasma cannons at the lead ship, and immediately rolled left and dove toward the ground. The Veltari pilot tried to follow but couldn't match her aggressive maneuvering. Shots missed by hundreds of meters. The rest of Dragon Squadron struck simultaneously. The alien patrol never had a chance. 5 Veltari ships exploded in less than 30 seconds. Dragon leader to control, Yoon reported. All targets eliminated. No friendly casualties. These aliens really need better pilot training. Admiral Krell received the news of another defeat while reviewing casualty reports. His forces had been steadily losing ground for weeks. Every day brought fresh disasters. Every night brought new human attacks. Sir, we need reinforcements, pleaded his tactical officer. The humans are not fighting like any species we've encountered before. They adapt to our strategies faster than we can implement them. What do you mean? Krell demanded. They study our every move. When we attack from the air, they move underground. When we send ground troops, they attack from the air. When we patrol in large groups, they use bigger explosives. When we patrol in small groups, they overwhelm us with numbers. Grell's mandibles clicked in frustration. Every other species had predictable responses to Veltari tactics. The humans seemed to have unlimited flexibility. They changed their methods daily, sometimes hourly. Colonel Nam's next operation targeted the main Veltari communication center in Asia. His intelligence teams had been monitoring alien transmissions for weeks. They knew exactly when the guards changed shifts. They knew which entrance had the weakest security. They knew how to get in and out without being detected. 50 resistance fighters struck at exactly midnight. They moved through the facility like ghosts, planting HFYs, explosive devices, at key locations. The Veltari guards never saw them coming. The explosion could be seen from orbit. The communication center vanished in a pillar of fire that reached into the clouds. Every Veltari force in Asia lost contact with their commanders for 6 hours. Another successful operation, Nam reported to General Ika. The aliens are learning what happens when they invade a human world. Dr. Jin made her biggest breakthrough while studying captured Veltari armor. Alien soldiers seemed invincible in their powered suits, but every piece of technology had weaknesses. She just needed to find them. The armor's power supply has a fatal flaw, she announced to her research team. It's designed to shut down safely if the core overloads, but we can trigger that overload remotely. Her electromagnetic pulse weapons could disable Veltari armor from a distance. Suddenly, the alien's biggest advantage became a critical weakness. Human infantry could now fight Veltari, soldiers on equal terms. Production facilities across the globe began manufacturing the new weapons immediately. Within days, every resistance cell would have access to armor-defeating technology. Sergeant. Been tested the new weapons during the liberation of downtown Seoul. His squad surrounded a Veltari patrol and activated their pulse devices. The alien. Armor powered down instantly, leaving the soldiers helpless inside their metal shells. Welcome to Earth, Bin said, as his men captured the entire patrol. Population, angry humans. The captured aliens would provide valuable intelligence about Veltari military plans. But more importantly, their defeat sent a message to every human resistance cell. The invaders could be beaten. Admiral Krell faced his darkest hour as reports flooded in from across the planet. Human forces had destroyed 18 major installations. They'd captured hundreds of Veltari soldiers. They'd shot down dozens of patrol ships. Worst of all, the humans were getting stronger. Every captured weapon made them more dangerous. Every defeated patrol taught them new tactics. Every small victory inspired more civilians to join the resistance. Sir, the High Command is requesting a status report, his aide said nervously. They want to know when Earth will be fully pacified. Krell stared out at the planet that was supposed to be an easy conquest. Fires burned on every continent. Mighty fleet was being bled to death by primitive humans using improvised weapons. The Empire's reputation for invincibility lay in ruins. Tell the High Command that pacification is proceeding according to schedule, he lied. We will have complete control soon. But Krell knew the truth. For the first time in Veltari history, they had encountered a species that refused to be conquered. The humans were not just resisting, they were winning. General IK addressed the Global Resistance Network from his mobile command center. 3 months ago, the aliens thought we would surrender in 3 days. Today, we control 30% of our planet's surface. Tomorrow, we begin taking back the rest. The tide of war was turning. The hunters had become the hunted. 6 months after the invasion began, Commander Heian stood in the reclaimed command center of Unity 7. The space station bore scars from alien weapons. But human engineers had rebuilt it stronger than before. That today marked humanity's first major offensive operation. All resistance cells report ready, announced the communications officer. Operation Thunder is set to begin in 60 seconds. Hyun looked at the tactical display showing Veltari positions across the globe. Red dots marked enemy installations. Blue arrows showed simultaneous human strikes planned for the next hour. After months of defensive fighting, humanity was ready to attack. Begin Operation Thunder, she ordered. Show these aliens what happens when they underestimate human determination. Across the planet, resistance cells struck at exactly the same moment. The Veltari had never faced coordinated global warfare. Their military doctrine assumed enemies would fight regional battles, not planetary campaigns. Dr. Su watched the first plasma rifle roll off the production line in the hidden factory beneath the Sahara Desert. The weapon looked crude compared. 2 alien designs, but appearances were deceiving. Human engineering had improved on Veltari technology in ways their creators never imagined. Power output is 40% higher than the original, she reported to General IK. Rate of fire is doubled. We can manufacture them 5 times faster than alien factories. The Veltari built their weapons to last centuries. Humans built theirs to win wars. Speed mattered more than longevity when fighting for survival.
Ow.
Many can we produce per day? asked the general. 5,000 rifles, 200 heavy weapons, 50 vehicle-mounted systems? Dr. Seuss smiled. We'll arm every human on Earth within a month. Captain Sol led the space assault on Veltari Orbital platforms using captured enemy vessels. His fleet consisted of 12 alien ships that had been modified beyond recognition. Human engineers had stripped out safety systems and added more weapons. Remember, he told his crews. These ships were built by aliens who value survival over victory. We've rebuilt them for humans who value victory over everything else. The Veltari orbital defense platforms detected the approaching fleet and prepared to fire. Their targeting computers identified the ships as friendly vessels returning from patrol. The recognition codes were correct. Ships appeared undamaged. The aliens realized their mistake too late. Sol's modified vessels opened fire at point-blank range. The Veltari platforms exploded one after another, their shields overwhelmed by weapons that shouldn't have existed. In 30 minutes, humanity achieved orbital superiority for the first time since the invasion began. Orbital space is clear, Sol reported to Unity 7. The aliens just learned that captured technology works better in human hands. Major Juan directed the liberation of Berlin through coordinated ground and airstrikes. His forces included soldiers from 20 different nations, all fighting under a single command structure. The artificial borders that had divided humanity were forgotten. Alpha Team, strike the Eastern Gate. Bravo Team, hit their communications. Charlie Team, secure the civilians. The Veltari garrison had prepared for random resistance attacks. Were not prepared for a professional military assault using their own advanced weapons. Human forces moved with precision that exceeded alien training standards. The battle lasted only 4 hours. When the smoke cleared, Berlin was free. The Veltari flag was torn down and replaced with the blue banner of Earth's United Resistance. Is Major One to all units, he broadcast. Berlin is liberated. The aliens are retreating. Today we prove that human courage beats alien technology. Celebrations erupted across the hidden communication networks. The first major city had been reclaimed. If Berlin could be freed, any city could be freed. Lieutenant Gu crawled through the ventilation shaft above the Veltari's command center in Tokyo. Her infiltration mission had taken weeks of planning. She needed to steal the alien database containing their strategic plans. The Veltari had built their security systems to stop conventional attacks. They had not considered that humans might use their own building systems against them. Every ventilation shaft was a potential invasion route. She dropped silently into the main computer room and connected her data device to the alien systems. Human programmers had learned to crack Veltari encryption months ago. The aliens changed their codes regularly, but humans cracked them faster. Intelligence package downloaded, she whispered into her radio. The aliens have no idea what's coming next. The stolen data revealed Veltari fleet positions, supply routes, and reinforcement schedules. More importantly, it showed their growing desperation. Admiral Krell had been requesting additional forces for weeks. The High Command kept refusing. Admiral Krell paced his command deck like a caged animal. Half his fleet was damaged or destroyed. His ground forces were trapped in shrinking defensive positions. The humans attacked everywhere simultaneously, making it impossible to predict or counter their moves. Sir, we've lost Orbital Platform 7, reported his tactical officer. Human forces used our own ships against us. How did they capture? Our ships? Krell demanded. They didn't capture them, sir. They stole them. The humans have been infiltrating our vessels for months, learning our systems, copying our technology. Krell's mandibles clicked in fury. Every piece of Veltari equipment that fell into human hands became a weapon against the Empire. The primitives were not just fighting back, they were improving on Veltari designs. What about reinforcements from the High Command? His aide hesitated. Denied again, sir. High Command believes this is a local problem that should be resolved. With existing forces, the High Command still didn't understand. This wasn't a local problem. Right. This was a complete failure of Imperial doctrine. The humans had broken every rule of how conquered species were supposed to behave. Commander, Yun addressed the liberated populations of Earth through every communication channel on the planet. Her words reached resistant cells and hidden bunkers. And civilians in occupied cities, citizens of Earth. 6 months ago, the aliens believed we would surrender in 3 days. Today, we control half our planet. Tomorrow, we take back the rest. She paused, looking at the tactical display showing human victories across the globe. The Veltari came here expecting easy prey. Instead, they found humanity. They thought our divisions made us weak. Our unity makes us strong. They thought our primitive technology made us helpless. Our ingenuity makes us dangerous. The broadcast continued for an hour, detailing human victories and alien defeats.
Ow.
Every word was carefully chosen to inspire hope and determination. The message was clear. Humanity would never surrender. Dr. Su's research teams achieved another breakthrough while studying captured Veltari power systems. The aliens used fusion reactors that were incredibly efficient but limited in output. Human engineers found ways to make them burn hotter and brighter. We can overload their reactor cores remotely, she announced to the Science Council. Every Veltari ship becomes a potential bomb if we can get close enough to transmit the override codes. The discovery changed everything. Suddenly, every alien vessel was vulnerable to human sabotage. The mighty Veltari fleet had become a liability. Captain Sol prepared for the final space battle using intelligence stolen by Lieutenant Gu. The remaining Veltari fleet was gathering for one last assault on Earth. They planned to destroy the planet rather than admit defeat. All ships, this is Sol, he broadcast to the human fleet. Today we end this war. The aliens came here to conquer us. Instead, they gave us the stars. His modified fleet moved to intercept the Veltari armada. 12 human ships against 40 alien vessels. 6 months ago, those odds would have meant certain death. Today, they meant certain victory. The battle raged for 6 hours. Human ships moved like dancers, striking and fading before the aliens could respond. Veltari vessels exploded as their own power systems turned against them. By sunset, only human ships remained in Earth's orbit. Admiral Krell sat alone on his damaged bridge, staring at the planet that had destroyed his career. The primitive humans had accomplished the impossible. They had defeated the Veltari Empire through pure determination and tactical brilliance. Sir, his aide said quietly, "Hi. Command is ordering a complete withdrawal. The humans have proven too dangerous to conquer." Krell nodded slowly. For the first time in Veltari history, they were retreating from a weaker enemy. The Empire's reputation would never recover. The humans had won through ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to accept defeat. They had turned the hunters into the hunted. Admiral Krell's request for emergency reinforcements reached the Veltari High Command on the Imperial homeworld.
Yes.
The message was marked with the highest priority code. No Veltari admiral had ever used that designation before. Immediate assistance required. His transmission began. Human resistance exceeds all projections. Current forces insufficient for conquest. Recommend complete fleet deployment or strategic withdrawal. The High Command Council reviewed the request with growing alarm. Krell commanded 200 warships, the largest invasion force in Imperial history. If that wasn't enough to conquer a primitive planet, what was? This is impossible, declared Supreme Admiral Vex. Krell must be exaggerating. No species has ever required reinforcements after 6 months. But the battle reports told a different story. Human forces had reclaimed 60% of Earth's surface. Veltari casualties numbered in the tens of thousands. The impossible was happening. Commander Hyen stood before the Global Resistance Council and the rebuilt Unity 7. Representatives from every nation sat around the holographic table. 6 months ago, these same people had been enemies. Today, they planned the final liberation of Earth. Operation Reclamation begins at dawn, she announced. Simultaneous strikes on every remaining Veltari installation worldwide. We've learned their weaknesses. We've stolen their technology. Now we finish what they started. The plan was ambitious. Beyond anything attempted in military history, coordinated attacks across 6 continents, involving millions of resistance fighters. The Veltari had never faced anything like it because no species had ever been this organized. The aliens think in terms of individual battles, continued Haon. We think in terms of total war. They fight to conquer. We fight to survive. Difference will decide this conflict. Captain Day had been presumed dead for 3 months. His ship, the Determination, had been destroyed during the first week of fighting. But Day had survived, and he had been busy. The fleet he now commanded bore little resemblance to Earth's original navy. Every vessel was a hybrid of human and Veltari technology. Its engineers had not just copied alien designs, they had improved them beyond recognition. These ships are faster than anything the Veltari have, he explained to his crew. Their weapons hit harder. Their shields are stronger. We didn't just learn from their technology, we perfected it. The Determination had been rebuilt as humanity's flagship. It carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. More importantly, it carried the hopes of 8 billion humans who refused to surrender. Sergeant Bin's urban warfare expertise had made him a legend among resistance fighters. His tactics were taught in hidden training camps across the globe. Every major city liberation had used his methods. The aliens built their command center like a fortress, he told his assault team. High walls, heavy weapons, energy shields. They made one mistake. They built it in a human city. Bin had spent weeks studying the Veltari stronghold in downtown Tokyo. The aliens had chosen the location for its defensive advantages. They had not considered that humans knew every sewer, every subway tunnel, every maintenance shaft in their own cities. We're not going through their defenses, he continued. We're going under them. His team would emerge inside the command center through the old subway system. The Veltari sensors were designed to detect aerial and ground attacks. They would never see the humans coming from below. Dr. Jin's final breakthrough came while analyzing Veltari biology. The aliens were stronger and tougher than humans, but they had a critical weakness. Their nervous systems operated differently. Their brain chemistry is vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies, she explained to the medical team. We can build weapons that target their neural pathways without affecting human tissue. The discovery was revolutionary. Humans could now create weapons that were completely harmless to their own species, but devastating to Veltari biology. The aliens' physical advantages would become meaningless. How quickly can we deploy this technology? Asked General Ik. Mass production begins tomorrow, Jin replied. Every human soldier will have neural disruptors within a week. Admiral Krell received the worst news of his career while reviewing the overnight battle reports. Human forces had achieved complete orbital superiority. 3 more major cities had been liberated. His remaining ground forces were cut off and surrounded. Sir, the humans are jamming all our communications, reported his aide. Our forces cannot coordinate with each other or with the fleet. The humans had learned to use Veltari technology better than its creators. They had turned every alien advantage into a human strength. The conquerors had become the conquered. Denied again, sir. High Command believes this situation reflects poorly on Veltari military competence. Krell's mandibles clicked in bitter laughter. Military competence. The High Command still didn't understand. This wasn't about competence. This was about encountering a species that refused to follow the rules. Commander, unlaunched Operation Reclamation from the Bridge of Unity 7, around the planet. Resistance cells prepared for the final assault. Every major Veltari position would be attacked simultaneously. This is Commander Hyan to all units, she broadcast. 6 months ago, these aliens came to our world expecting easy victory. Today, we show them what human determination can accomplish. The attacks began at sunrise. In Moscow, resistance fighters emerged from subway tunnels inside the Veltari command center. In Cairo, modified civilian aircraft struck alien positions with captured plasma weapons. In Sydney, converted construction equipment smashed through enemy barriers. Every human on Earth had become a soldier in the fight for freedom. Captain Day led the space assault against the remaining Veltari fleet. His hybrid vessels moved like hunting wolves, striking fast and fading before the aliens could respond. The enemy ships were more advanced individually, but humans fought as a coordinated pack. Target their command ship, he ordered. Cut off. The head and the body dies. The determination accelerated toward Admiral Krell's flagship. Veltari plasma cannons fired desperately, but the human ship's modified shields held. Day's return fire punched through alien defenses like paper. The Veltari flagship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The remaining alien ships lost coordination immediately. Without central command, they became easy targets for human hunters. Sergeant Bin's assault on the Tokyo Command Center succeeded beyond all expectations. His team captured the facility intact, along with its complete database of Veltari military secrets.
Oh, yes.
The aliens had kept detailed records of their empire's weaknesses. We've got their entire fleet deployment, he reported to Hune. Ship positions, supply routes, reinforcement schedules, everything. The intelligence would be invaluable for future operations. But more importantly, it revealed something shocking. The Veltari Empire was not as strong as they pretended. Many of their conquered worlds were in open rebellion. Dr. Jin's neural disruptors proved devastatingly effective during the final battles. Veltari soldiers simply collapsed when exposed to the electromagnetic pulses. Their superior armor and weapons became useless against technology specifically designed to target their biology. The aliens built their military around physical superiority, she observed. They never considered an enemy that could neutralize their biological advantages. Human creativity had once again turned alien strengths into weaknesses. General Icom accepted the surrender of the last Veltari ground forces in a ceremony broadcast across the globe. The alien commander removed his helmet and knelt before the human general. The symbolism was powerful and intentional. You fought with honor, Ika told the defeated alien. Your mistake was underestimating human resolve. We suggest your empire. Learn from this experience. Admiral Krell sat alone on his damaged ship, composing his final report to the High Command. The words came slowly, each sentence an admission of failure that would end his career. The human conquest has failed completely, he wrote. Enemy forces have achieved total victory through tactics and technology that exceed Imperial standards. Recommend immediate withdrawal and designation of Earth as a restricted zone. The primitive planet had become humanity's fortress. The hunters had become the hunted. The Veltari Empire had finally met their match. Earth was free, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Krell stood on the bridge of his damaged flagship, watching Earth grow smaller in the viewport. For the first time in Veltari history, an invasion fleet was retreating in complete defeat. The primitive planet had accomplished the impossible. Sir. Final casualty reports, his aide announced with barely controlled fear. 70% of our ground forces lost. 60% of the fleet destroyed or captured. The humans have seized over 200 of our vessels. Krell nodded slowly. Each number represented a failure that would be studied in Veltari military academies for generations. If there were any academies left after the High Command learned of this disaster, what about the orbital platforms? All destroyed or captured. Sir, the humans are already retrofitting them with their own technology. The irony was bitter. Every piece of Veltari equipment had made the humans stronger. The Empire had not just failed to conquer Earth, they had armed their enemy with advanced technology. General IK stood in the reclaimed command center of Unity 7. Addressing the Veltari High Command through quantum communication, the alien leaders appeared as holograms around the conference table, their mandibles clicking nervously. I am General IK of Earth's United Defense Force, he began formally. Accept your request for negotiations. Supreme Admiral Vex leaned forward, his 6 arms crossed defensively. We demand the return of our ships and personnel. The Veltari Empire will not tolerate this humiliation. Ika smiled coldly. You are in no position to demand anything. Invasion failed completely. Your ships belong to Earth now, as prizes of war. The alien leaders exchanged worried glances. No species had ever spoken to the Veltari Empire with such confidence. The balance of power had shifted permanently, Commander. Heian worked late into the night, preparing humanity's message to the galaxy. Earth's victory would be broadcast across every known star system. The universe needed to understand what had happened here. People of the galaxy, she began recording. The Veltari Empire came to Earth expecting easy conquest. They found 8 billion humans who refused to surrender. They brought superior technology. We brought superior determination. The message would travel to dozens of worlds currently under Veltari occupation. Resistance movements across the galaxy would learn that the Empire could be defeated. Earth's victory would inspire rebellions on every conquered planet. Captain Day commanded the new human space defense force from the bridge of the rebuilt Determination. His fleet consisted of 200 vessels, half captured from the Veltari, and half built using hybrid technology. Earth now possessed the most advanced navy in the galaxy. All ships, prepare for deep space patrol, he ordered. The Veltari might return with reinforcements. We need to be ready. But Day suspected the aliens would not return. The Empire's reputation for invincibility was shattered. Every species in the galaxy now knew that the Veltari could be beaten by inferior numbers and primitive technology. The psychological victory was as important as the military one. Dr. Jin stood in her new laboratory, surrounded by captured Veltari technology. Human scientists had learned more about advanced physics in 6 months than in the previous century. The alien invasion had accelerated human development by decades. We're not just rebuilding, she explained to the Research Council. We're advancing beyond anything the galaxy has seen. Human creativity combined with alien technology creates possibilities neither species imagined. The fusion reactors powering Earth's cities were twice as efficient as Veltari designs. The plasma weapons rolling off production lines surpassed Imperial military standards. Humanity had not just learned from their enemies, they had surpassed them. Admiral Krell faced the Veltari High Command in the Imperial throne room. The massive chamber had witnessed the planning of dozens of successful conquests. Today, it hosted the first admission of total defeat. Explain this failure, demanded Supreme Admiral Vex. How did a primitive species defeat the Empire's greatest invasion? Force Krell chose his words carefully. His career was already over, but he could still serve the Empire by explaining the truth. The humans do not fight like any species we've encountered, he began. They adapt to every situation. They improve on captured technology. They coordinate globally while fighting locally. Most importantly, they refuse to accept defeat under any circumstances. The High Command listened in stunned silence as Krell described human tactics that violated every principle of civilized warfare. Guerrilla operations that used civilian infrastructure as weapons, urban combat that turned cities into death traps, space battles fought with kamikaze determination. Recommend Earth be designated as a restricted zone, Krell concluded. No Imperial forces should approach human space without overwhelming superiority. The declaration was unprecedented. The Veltari Empire had never retreated from any species. But humanity had proven that some enemies were too dangerous to fight. Commander Hyan's broadcast reached the Zephyrian resistance movement on the edge of Veltari space. The bird-like aliens had been fighting a losing guerrilla war for decades. Earth's victory gave them new hope and new tactics. Similar messages reached rebel cells on 42 worlds. The Caltharian underwater cities began producing human-designed weapons. The crystalline Nexari started coordinating planet-wide resistance operations. The furry Polonian mountain fighters adopted Earth's urban warfare methods. The Veltari Empire faced rebellions on every conquered world simultaneously. The humans had not just won their own freedom, they had sparked a galactic revolution. Captain Young led the first human exploration mission beyond the solar system. His squadron of hybrid vessels was faster and more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. This is Captain Young to Earth Control, he reported as his ships jumped to hyperspace. Beginning deep space exploration mission, the aliens wanted to conquer us. Instead, they gave us the galaxy. The irony was perfect. The Veltari invasion had been intended to add Earth to the Empire. Instead, it had created the Empire's most dangerous enemy and inspired revolution across the galaxy. Sergeant Ben trained the first class of galactic resistance, Fighters in the mountains of Tibet, representatives from 12 different species learned human urban warfare tactics. Earth had become the academy for revolutionary combat. The key to beating the Veltari, he explained to his alien students, is refusing to fight on their terms. They expect organized armies. Give them guerrilla cells. Expect technological superiority. Use their own weapons against them. They expect surrender after initial defeat. Never give up. The lessons were spreading across the galaxy. Species that had been conquered for centuries were learning to fight back using human methods. Dr. Su's research. Teams achieved breakthrough after breakthrough using captured Veltari science. Faster than light communication. Unlimited energy. Generation. Gravity manipulation. Technologies that had taken the aliens millennia to develop were being improved by humans within months. We're not just catching up to galactic civilization, she announced. We're surpassing it. Earth's technological advancement threatened every established power in the galaxy. The humans had gone from primitive planet to galactic superpower in less than a year. General IK received reports from resistance movements across the galaxy. The Veltari Empire was collapsing under the weight of simultaneous rebellions. 42 worlds were fighting for freedom using human tactics and technology. Earth's victory was just the beginning, he told the Global Defense Council. We've started something that will reshape the entire galaxy. Admiral Krell's final report to the High Command contained a warning that would echo through Veltari history. The humans represent a new type of enemy. They cannot be conquered through conventional means. They adapt too quickly. They fight too creatively. They refuse to accept defeat. The report concluded with a recommendation that would have been unthinkable 6 months earlier. Avoid human space at all costs. Seek peaceful relations if possible. Never again attempt conquest of their territory. Commander Heian stood on the observation deck of Unity 7 watching human ships patrol Earth's orbital space. The blue planet below showed no scars from the Veltari invasion. Human determination had not just preserved their world, it had made it stronger. They came here thinking we were weak because we were divided, she said to Captain Day, who stood beside her. They learned that our diversity makes us strong. They thought our primitive technology made us helpless. They discovered that our creativity makes us dangerous. The captain nodded. What's our next move? Hyun smiled as she watched human exploration. Vessels jumping to hyperspace. We take our message to the stars. The galaxy needs to learn that some species cannot be conquered, only respected. The Veltari had presumed fighting humans would be simple. They learned they were dead wrong. Earth's victory had changed the balance of power across the galaxy. Humanity had claimed its place among the stars through pure determination and the refusal to surrender. The age of easy conquest was over. The age of human expansion had begun.